The following program contains shocking assertions of truth. If you suffer from relativism, Randall may not be right for you. Check with your local guru.
Standing for truth in the four corners of America. Fighting for justice on the frontiers of the culture wars. And turning resistance into an art form. The man who creates social tension just by walking into the room, Randall Terry.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. I'm a bust a move today. Oh, I'd rather be a jailbird than a vulture any day of the week. Oh, I love you, and I thank you very much for taking the time to be with me. Friends, I'm telling you, this is going to be a great show. Just stick with me all the way through to the end. This could be one of those shows for your life that changes what you do and puts you on the front page of your local newspaper. Oh, I mean every word of it. All right, the House of Representatives with Nancy Pelosi at the helm, they have an agenda for you. And the NRA sells its soul to the devil. And American rabbis have a message for you and I about Elena Kagan. Today's program brought to you in part by the NRA. We're principled, sometimes, and by the Rabbinical Alliance of America. With a word about Elena Kagan. Oi, she's not kosher, but she makes a nice sandwich. I don't know where I come up with this stuff. All right, listen to me. I'm not kidding you. We were in the streets of D.C. yesterday preaching to senators. We've got some footage of it, going to senators' offices. I want you to see it. It's like a training video for you. And I want to encourage you about what you can do in your community to get on the front page and get on the evening news, okay? So stick with me through this show. First, a rather profound commentary from my good friend, Sir Reginald Bling. You may have heard that Planned Parenthood seems to have misplaced about $1.5 billion of our money. I gotta set the record straight on Planned Parenthood. First of all, Planned Parenthood abortionists have killed more babies than any other source in America. We're talking millions of babies dead. Now, that makes perfect sense. You see, Planned Parenthood was started by a full-blown, dyed-in-the-wool racist named Margaret Sanger. This woman hated people of color. She hated Italians, she hated Poles, she hated Jews and Hispanics and the Negroes, as she called them. She called us all human weeds. She must have been smoking weed. Now, I don't mean no disrespect for the dead, but this woman was a horror of the first order. One of her boyfriends was a co-worker in the Nazi party, in the part of the whole eugenics movement. She believed in the master race. She wanted black people and poor people to be sterilized so they couldn't have no more of these human weeds. She said we was useless breeders. Well, she set out to deceive the black preachers in America and the white liberal churches to get behind her damnable agenda. And what's crazy is she did it. Yeah, she got the black churches to get behind getting rid of black babies. Now, in her private life, she was practically a hooker. She had at least 3 husbands. We don't know how many adulterous lovers she had, and she abandoned her 3 children for her sex life. Said, hey, you got to fend for yourself, children. One of them almost died. And she had the behavior traits that was more like a drug-addicted prostitute, if you know what I'm talking about. Now, this woman, yeah, she's the founder of Planned Parenthood. So, you black church leaders who support the Democratic Party and support Planned Parenthood, have you lost your mind? You are supporting black genocide. You are doing something that the Ku Klux Klan could never have done on their own. And believe me, every white honky crackle racist in the Mississippi Delta is thanking you for supporting the abortion lynchings of black babies happening every day. Look in the mirror, black preacher, and thank yourself for all the dead black babies. And you, Republicans who say, oh, I'm for family values. Oh, I'm pro-life. You're the biggest bunch of lying hypocrites to walk the streets of America since the slave traders themselves. But don't worry, God Almighty has a perfect accounting of every time you voted to give money to Planned Parenthood. And you will give an account to him on the day of judgment for your evil deeds. So remember, when you think about Planned Parenthood, remember what you learned. 1, Planned Parenthood is the devil. 2, Margaret Sanger is the mother of this devil. 3, people who vote to give money to Planned Parenthood are servants of this devil. And I'm betting hell has a very special place waiting for all y'all. Word out. Hello, friend. Welcome to the program. We get a lot of calls and letters wondering why that hand is out of the shot. Well, it's so that I can keep my hand on these. Yes, because if you're going to believe the Obama administration, you have to eat these early and often. Tastes like white chocolate. All right, let's go to the news. Nancy Pelosi and the House of Representatives have passed the Disclose Act. But disclose? Why don't they want to wear clothes? No, not that kind of clothes. They want us to disclose every single person who gives $600 or more for a campaign ad, even if they weren't giving it for the campaign ad. I don't want to take the time to look at all the details of this bill. You can find it online. But here's what I want to say. It is demonic. Here's one of those moments when we have to say, as a body politic, left and right and center, the ACLU and the ACLJ, we have to say to Nancy and the House, go to hell. With surgical precision, I mean that phrase. This would be the death knell of free speech, freedom of association, your ability to give a contribution to a group so that an opinion could be voiced. It is disgusting, it is damnable, it is not American, and it will be overturned. And by the way, Tea Party people, you need to know, they're targeting us. Yeah, they're targeting us because guess who got exempt? Any group with more than 500,000 members. Heaven alone knows how the Congress is going to figure out who's got 500,000 members. Nevertheless, the big guns get to be exempt from the stuff that us little people have to endure. More news. Just what big guns are we talking about? That's right, the NRA. They say politics makes strange bedfellows. Well, in political bed together, the NRA, AARP, and Nancy Pelosi. Bah! The very wording is disgusting. I know. I felt a little sick in my mouth, if you know what I'm talking about. Nevertheless, it's true. The NRA, who is the nation's leading Second Amendment rights group, has worked out a deal throwing the rest of us under the bus so that they don't have to abide by these rules. They don't have to say who their big donors are when they run an ad. They don't have to talk about the head of the corporation. This is a double standard, and it is disgusting. Now, it's not enough, as you know, that we simply rant and rave about these things, although I admit ranting and raving is kind of fun. What we have to actually do is bring some political heat to bear on our elected officials, both in the House and the Senate. Now, there is a very good chance that this bill will not pass in the Senate. The Senate tends to be made of people with a little bit more intelligence, and they're not led by that moronica, Nancy Pelosi. They're led by Sir Moron Harry Reid, who's in the fight for his political life. All of that blather aside, it's not enough that we just whine and click and clack and hang out in cyberspace wringing our hands. So in this program, I am going to show you how to get on the front page of your paper or on your evening news or on your talk radio stations and news talk stations in your community so that you can have an impact on policy making through the press. Stay with me through this break. We're going to come back, talk about the rabbis, Elena Kagan, and what you can do to get on the front page. I'll be right back.
The mountain roads in West Virginia are outfitted with signs that say, "Look out for fallen rocks." To which my father said, "Let the fallen rocks look out for themselves."
Moments with Moses. They will stumble over one another, as if to escape a sword, though none pursues. And you shall have no power to stand before your enemies.
Welcome back to the program, friend. In a minute, I'm going to train you how you can get on the front page of your paper. But first, more news. The Rabbinical Alliance of America has said, quote, she's not kosher, referring to Elena Kagan. Not kosher? Does that mean she's a Gentile? Does it mean she's a dog? What does it mean? Glad you asked. Well, my good friend Rabbi Yehuda Levin said these piercing words, and I love this guy, quote, we feel that Elena Kagan turns traditional Judaism on its head. From a concept of a nation of priests and holy people, she is turning it into, let's homosexualize every segment of society. And by the way, partial birth babies have no right to be delivered, close quote. She's not the only one that was calling, or they're not the only ones calling for a filibuster. We were too. And we're in the news. That's right. Would you like to see some footage? Because we're in newspapers all over the country today, holding Republican feet to the fire. Check out our team on the streets and in the halls of the Senate just yesterday right here in our nation's capital.
Yes, we shall keep quiet. Shh. Kagan needs to come to the Supreme Court. She's my hero.
Where's Mitch McConnell and Jeff Sessions and John Clyde when you need them? They'll run their mouth on Fox News, but then they won't fight on the Senate floor.
I thank you, Republican leadership.
What a resistance.
Jeff Sessions, John Kyle, Mitch McConnell, we're working hand in hand. Well, there it is. Kagan.
How many of us will go to jail for handing out pamphlets or for
You worthless prisoner.
free speech or for defending babies from abortion or for defending marriage from the assault of the militant homosexuals?
Kagan, so smart, from Harvard. Yes, we are friends. Come to the Supreme Court. Come with the silence of the GOP. Ah, ha, 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 ha.
Oh, be quiet. Senator, the GOP is useless. GOP is my friend. Senator McCain, when will the Republicans grow a backbone? Filibuster Kagan. Filibuster Kagan. Come on, Senator McCain. Filibuster Kagan.
Only extreme circumstances for a filibuster.
Legislative aide in charge of Kagan hearings coming up.
Sure. Here's the material. Senator Kyle needs to stop talking trash on the Sunday morning shows about filibustering and then doesn't come through with the goods. That's the message. He was here, he got here to defend babies. He says he wants to defend babies. He says he's pro-life. He says he'll filibuster, but then when it's time to really fight, he doesn't have the guts to pony up and do the right thing. So he can be a hero or he can be a squish. We're looking for him to be a hero.
Great.
My name is Randall Terry. If you could give him that message from me. And the name of our group is Operation Rescue.
Okay.
By the way, he's the devil.
No need for, extraordinary circumstances. Thank you, Senator Kyle. You're so good to me. All of us friends from down below.
They talk trash like on a basketball court, but then when it's time for them to fight, they don't really do it.
This is the American way.
You want to hear something crazy? Let's go.
So glad to see. We wanted to see Senator McConnell just for a moment. We'd like to thank him for his blessed silence. No filibuster. We want more of these little dead ones. So we'd like to thank Senator McConnell for his silence. Let him keep silence. Thank you so much. God bless you so much. From down below. Oh.
Terry, Terry, this woman is the picture of justice.
My dream come true is for Senator McConnell to remain silent, to not have any filibuster against Kagan, and let Kagan rise to the Supreme Court.
Well, I told you it was guerrilla footage, but I also told you it would be intense and fun. Now listen, you don't have to wear costumes, but there are certain things that you have to do if you want your voice to be heard.
A lot of times our senators and our members of the House don't read their mail, but guess what? They read the front page of the newspaper. So when we come back from this break, I'm going to tell you how you can influence policymaking and get through to your elected officials, have your voice be heard, and define the debate in your community by getting in the news. Don't go away.
Ladies and gentlemen, Nancy Pelosi and Terry Reid want to invite you to a party in hell.
Success cannot be guaranteed. There are no safe battles. Sir Winston Churchill. Welcome back to the program, friend. A lot of times our U.S. senators and our House members don't read their mail, okay? They don't read their emails for sure, and they don't take our phone calls. But guess what they do read? The local paper. Yeah. So if you want to reach your U.S. senator or your House member with a message, get in the paper, especially on the front page. Well, how do you do that, Randall? The press doesn't give us fair coverage. They'll give you coverage if you give them something newsworthy. Yeah. Before I give you some of the nuts and bolts, let me say one thing. You have to have the internal issues resolved first, such as if it's me and my mom and two friends standing in front of this office holding signs doing our press conference, then that's what it is. Well, I don't want to look foolish. Then don't do it. If you're afraid of bad press or mediocre press, or if you're going to have really thin skin, then don't do it. But if you want your voice to be heard, and you're prepared to be a true patriot, and to be able to speak through your local newspaper, your local television stations, your local radio stations, then you can do it, and you can be heard by tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, sometimes millions of people. And right now, the press wants to hear about Elena Kagan. So here is your chance to get in the news. What do? First things first, go to overturnrow.com. Overturnrow.com. Write it down, remember it. Click on the button that says marching orders. I want you to read through everything that's there. It's fairly concise. It won't take you a long time. But if you will do exactly what is written on those pages, you will get news coverage. I've been helping people do this for 20 years, people. There's a reason when I walk through that door, there's all that newspaper coverage there. We know what we're doing. And if you'll follow the instructions to the letter, you'll get in the press. Now, well, what does it say, Randall? Number one, it says commit to do it, no matter what. So sometime next week, have a protest in front of your Republican senator or Democrat saying, filibuster Kagan. That's number one. Decide you're going to do it. Then pick the time. Pick the location. Find out where your U.S. senator has an office right in your area, and then say, for 1 hour, we're going to be there on the street. Have signs, Kagan not kosher, Kagan unfit for the Supreme Court, Kagan the Manchurian candidate, filibuster Kagan. All right? Have signs that say that. And then you first call all your local press, get through to the newsroom, and say, I've got a press release I'd like to send you. Where do I send it? They'll give you editor, news desk, assignment editor, something. And you send it. Then you call them back and say, hey, did you get my press release? We're going to be there. Are you going to come? Really spice it up. And by the way, I don't know how to send out a press release. The template for the press release is at our site, overturnrow.com. Click on marching orders. Everything you need to know is there. But if you'll do it and you'll just follow the instructions and some of the things I've just told you, you're going to get press, because the press is looking for stuff to cover regarding Kagan. All you have to do is give it to them. If you need to contact us, there's a way to contact us there at the site. We'll help walk you through it. But the big thing is just decide you're going to do it. I'll be right back with a word from George Washington. Let their way be dark and slippery, with the angel of the Lord pursuing them. For without cause they hid their net for me. Without cause they dug a pit for my life. Hi, friend. George Washington said, happiness and moral duty are inseparably connected. The book of James says, for him who knows to do good and doesn't do it
To him, it's sin. So here's the challenge that we face. It's not just not doing bad things, but it's doing good things. Our moral duty is to fight for truth and for justice. And so if we really want to feel good, like I'm ready to face my maker, part of that equation is that we fight in moments like today. So do the right thing, do your moral duty, and fight.